Yo, today in the mix, episode 37. I got my guy, the Butcha from the Pressable Defects. Stick around. Come on. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy DJ Linx, back in the building, back in effect, and back in the mix. I'm excited. I say that about every episode that I'm excited, but I'm motherfucking excited, motherfuckers. Oh shit, we got a super chat right out the gate. We got a super chat. Hold up, Mad Spidey from Australia. Yo, with the $7.99 Australian super chat. What is that? $5.99? Thank you, Mad Spidey. Of course, you could tell that I'm a few drinks in, and yeah, man. So I'm gonna welcome, before we say what's up to the chat, I'm gonna welcome my esteemed guest. I've been a big fan of his, big fan of the Pressable Defects. We in New York. Shout out to BX Boxer, but my dude, I'm gonna steal your chest slap real quick, but I'm gonna send you 50 cents for that. My guy, the Butcher. What is going on, Jay?
Linx, what is up? Chat, what is up? I am honored to be here. I've been waiting to kick it with you, man. You put on an awesome show. Your graphics are awesome. We got stripping. This is where I should be right here. I feel like I'm at home.
Dude, I am a fan of the stripper lifestyle. The stripper lifestyle. Those girls, you need a lot of upper body strength.
Yo, it's an honest living, kid.
It is an honest living. Thank you for being here, sir. Hold up, it's not official until you get. Yeah, I can't even find this thing now. That you fucked me up. We were talking backstage, and I kind of lost my.
Yeah, that's it. Cheers, dude.
Yeah, cheers, my guy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Let me just say before we get into it, let me just say what is up to the chat, really quick. Pressable Defects in the building. Dave Collects, yeah, in the building. What is good? Paul PC 1974. What is going on? Mrs. Links, that's the better half. Cannabis and comics. Ooh, what a combo. Nice. Wesley, what is up, Wesley? Thank you. And thank you for sharing, Wesley. My guy, Remy Q in the building. Link Squad member, Remy Q. Oops, I was about to blow up the surprise. Azorus Tiger in the building. Freaky Louie, my guy, what is going on? Dave Cerrone, Library Kid, Cerrone, Super Nature. That is my jam. Yo, what up, Hip Hop Steve? Jacob Baranowski, what is going on? Jason never could figure it out. What is going on, my dude? Then we got Liz Crucius 1971, and then Jess Oakley, and then we'll say what's up to the chat as more people trickle in. But Jay, yeah, first and foremost, thank you for being here. I greatly respect what you do. You are one of the few members, or one of the first members that I've actually met in person. We got to say hi and goodbye at the Connecticut Comic Swap, 3 Men in the Basement. You were super cool. I actually asked you before backstage if I was an asshole to you, because I'm known to be in person to be an asshole.
Nah, man, you cool as a fan, dude. We kicked it. That was a great swap, man. There's another one coming up. I can't wait for it. Yo, it's con season, man. We're gonna be doing a lot of hanging out.
Yeah, it's a lot, especially on the East Coast. We got like tomorrow's the Bronx Con you were telling me about. I don't know if you just want to get into that really quickly in case anybody wants to head up there.
Yeah, so tomorrow, guys, Bronx Con, it starts at 11 a.m. It's 478 Tremont Avenue in the Bronx. Myself, Matt Forge, Erod 212, BX Boxer, some of the New York Warriors will be there. Fury Comics is putting it on. It's going to be a good time, comic book shopping. And listen, even if you're not buying books, just come hang out, say what's up. It's free to get in. So what's better than free, right?
Oh, hell yeah. And then tomorrow, like, I won't be going there. I was telling you backstage, I'm going to a con in Long Island tomorrow in the Roosevelt Field Mall, put on by Nick GQ. And it's called like the Saturday Super Show. And it's going to be in the mall by Macy's. Probably between Macy's and Aunt Annie's, the pretzel place.
There you go.
And yeah, that's where I'll be tomorrow, which is like a good 45 minutes from me, depending on traffic. And then I'm gonna go see Batman. Have you seen Batman?
Going Sunday. I'm going with Guy and Matt. We're going to get some lunch. We're gonna eat Mexican, get some margaritas, and then we're gonna hit Batman. I can't wait, dude. I am so excited for this movie. This is my most anticipated movie of 2022.
Yeah, it's right up there for me, especially after the initial wave of reactions or reviews that came in. Now, I tend not to watch reviews too much when a movie comes out because I don't want it to skew my view. Like,
Right.
what's your mindset going into a movie like that?
Coming in, man, just seeing like the promos and the trailers from back when they first started coming out, it looks dark and gritty. I like dark and gritty, right? It's Batman, it's Gotham City, it's a dark and gritty place. First, everyone shitted on Pattinson when he was casted for the role. Then I shitted on him myself. I'm like, oh, this the glimmering the glimmering vampire from Twilight. But then I seen that first sneak peek trailer, and I'm like, oh man,
With the
this
Nirvana.
this might be something, man. So I'm excited. It got good reviews, but like you said, everybody got to be their own judge on everything. So we'll talk, man. I'll text you as soon as we walk out of that theater.
Yeah, I'm like super excited. I was already telling my wife. I was just like, "Yo, you don't have to cook tomorrow. I'll get pizza at the theater." Like I'm ready. Universe X, what is going on, my dude?
X, my man.
And then Joker, my guy.
Joker, my guy.
What is going on? Everybody's coming out. Yo, dude. So before we even get into this, right? This is probably my most, I guess, shared as far as like posts and things like that. Like people love you.
It's the community, man. It's everybody. It's that East Coast community and a little bit of the West Coast too, right? So listen, we got the Yankee brims on.
Boom.
So it's everybody repping in the comments. I appreciate everybody that shared because it's two genuine guys right here. They know it's going to be a good show. I've been excited for this all week, man.
Oh, for real. Yo,
yeah.
I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. Like before every single show, like, I don't know if you have a ritual, right? But my ritual is after I ate dinner, I shaved my shit down a little bit. Shout out to my barber that had surgery that I need a haircut. I'm looking crazy. My ritual is I shave my shit down, I take a shower, and then I just lay on the sofa quietly. And then I get up, and then my wife was just like, you in your shit again? And I was like, yo, it's the Butcha. Like,
yo, see, your beard's looking good. I'm trying to get the goatee, but my shit don't connect. So I gotta rock the Supreme Iron Man. But my ritual, yo, it's right here, kid. Cheers.
Boom.
Get them butterflies out.
I'm digging the facial hair. When did you decide these hard-hitting questions? When did you decide to go with the facial hair?
You got to switch it up every once. Listen, whatever I could do to hide this mug, whether it's hair, a mask, or whatever, I try to do my best.
Yeah, that's crazy. You mentioned on Jimmy. Big shout out to Jimmy, Small Town Collectibles. You tucked it in there real quick. He asked you a question, and you tucked it in there real quick. That you was like, "Oh, I'm a first responder." I wanted you to talk about that a little bit, especially like when it came to COVID. But before we even get into that, I want to thank you. I don't know what you do for a profession, but I want to thank you for being a first responder. Would you like to talk about that a little bit, like being on the front line as far as COVID went? Because I saw some shit like around, like I live not too far from a hospital, and I saw the trucks outside.
Yeah, it's COVID hit hard when it first came out. It's kind of dying off now. I think people are, getting vaccinated, whether you're with that or with, whatever you want to do, man, is your choice. Whether you want to be vaccinated or not, we all got through it together as one. Yeah, it hit hard, man. It was something we never seen before. I was born in 81. I never seen nothing like that. It was scary for everybody when it first happened. Like, everyone's like, I don't want COVID. Da 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 da. I got it January of 2021. It wasn't bad. I got hooked up. Your sponsor hooked me up, bro. Spidey's Powdered Tumblers had won a PlayStation 5.
What?
Yeah, he didn't want it. He knew I was looking for one. He's like, yo, Jay, I got this. You want to buy it? I'm like, yeah, dude. We worked out a price. He hooked it up. You know what they were going for when they first came out. Yeah. So I ain't gonna lie, man. COVID wasn't bad for me. I had a runny nose for like 2-3 days, but I had a PlayStation for 2 weeks, chilling in the basement, reading comic books, playing video games. It was like I was like 13 again. It was great.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie. COVID was a great experience for me. We started the YouTube channel. I read more and got more into I've always been into comics, but I had time to sit down and read, and speculation was coming to light, and there wasn't much to do but the YouTube thing and share posts and comments with comics with everybody in the community. It I gained a ton of friends, man. Friends that like I call friends, like yourself, man. People that I met through the community that maybe I met 1 or 2 times in real life,
Yeah.
but that I call friends. The UniX, Joker, Biggs, Erod, all the Manny, all these people that are close to me, man. Like those are my boys, dude. So I'm. It sucks in a way. People lost lives and got sick, but
Yeah.
people grew together, and I made a bunch of friends. So everything happens for a reason, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to agree with you on that. I was fortunate never to get COVID, but I think just the pandemic in general benefited me greatly. Uh, just kind of like a mentality change in a way, focusing all my energy on, besides just work, now it's about family, getting into the community. That's why I started the YouTube, the same thing, and then reading books. But it's just more so, it changed me for the better. I don't want to say like I was a douchebag before. Not that I was a douchebag. What happened? I was like super materialistic. I'm very impulsive, especially when it comes to buying stuff.
Yeah, and
Um,
we I think we all go through that at one stage of the collecting. Everyone gets those impulse buys. And it's funny you said that because I'm pretty much a calm, collected collector. But when COVID hit, I was starting to grab like store exclusives, which I don't usually do unless it's like a cover I like. But everyone was on the Null train, and I was grabbing this store exclusive and that store exclusive. And then it's just like, oh man, you got to pump the brakes and look at your credit card statement and like, oh, what I spend my money on? Like all these store exclusives, I could have bought myself a dope Silver Age key, but it happens, man. And regardless of, it's fun, right? It's fun. It's not like you're doing drugs. It's not like
yeah,
you're out spending money on crazy stuff like gambling and losing everything. You still got everything accounted for, and it's a good time. And you're reading comic books and you're bullshitting back and forth with people in the community, sharing what you got. So like I said, man, even though COVID was a bad experience for some people, it brought people together. So it is what it is, man. It's here, it happened, and that's it, right?
yeah, definitely. And then you started talking about books and stuff. Let's take it back to the beginning. Like I like to talk about, besides the books, just growing up. How was it like wherever you grew up, your environment, your household? Like how was that? Were you a good student? Were you a good kid, or were you a badass in school, elementary
Uh,
school? Talk about that a little.
so I grew up in Mount Vernon, money earned in Mount Vernon. Shout out,
Woo!
right?
Shout out to Heavy D.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Heavy D, right? Shout out to Denzel Washington.
Yes.
It was a great place. I'm happy I grew up there. My family didn't have a lot of money. We weren't like, scrounging, but I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. Like my parents had their bedroom and I had the living room, which they converted into my room. So there wasn't really a
Same.
living room.
Same.
So they made the best with what we had, like, I wanted a Nintendo for Christmas. I got it. I ain't gonna say I didn't get stuff like that. Like they made my childhood good, which is a good thing. Um, it was, I grew up with black people, Spanish people. I grew up with, one of my best friends was Korean. We had Portuguese people. We had Brazilian people. Like I'm very happy and very fortunate for that, because I rather grow up like that and be, culturally rich than
Yes.
rich and having everything and handed to me. Because I'll tell you what, man, and I'm sure you could relate. All the people that I knew growing up that had shit handed to them failed later on in life, as opposed to the people that had to work for it. So
Absolutely.
you listen, man, I was happy. It was all about putting quarters up at the pizzeria, playing Street Fighter and collecting comics and, playing manhunt and playing football out on the street. The kids don't have that nowadays. I don't care where you grow up. Like kids are in their house on their iPad, virtual, doing the shit we're doing right now. not going outside, just talking through a computer. So, listen, I'm happy the way I grew up, man. It makes you reflect and it makes you want to do better for your kids. So, it,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think growing up in the like inner city or close to the city, you get exposed to more. So you get exposed to different cultures, like going over to your friend's house. Like I the same thing. I grew up in a multicultural neighborhood, and like going to your friend's house, you had this experience. If I went to my boy's house after school on Monday, then if I went to my boy's house to play Nintendo on Tuesday, I got a whole different wealth of experience. And then you're playing in the street with Skelly, like after school. And then yeah, I remember one time in Manhunt, I was playing in the park. Dude, I hid in a pile of leaves like an idiot. Manhunt. Nobody found me. Like nobody found me, but I got
That's
up and I
how.
was just covering ants.
Yeah, like I go back, man, and I think about it like, yo, Fridays during elementary school, I'd have my best friend like, yo, you sleeping over my house tonight? We'd get out of school, we'd be all excited for it. We go to the house, eat pizza or Elio's or mac and cheese, play video games all night, bullshit. And it was good times, man. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, I wouldn't trade that in for the world. It
Yeah,
was wholesome, man. Shit ain't wholesome nowadays.
nah, it's not. And then you have to be I don't know. It's one of those things. It's funny because George Lopez in one of his stand-ups, like he was talking about it, because you have to be worried about now the outside environment, right? So it was like your kid goes walking down the block, like don't say anything to strangers, this and that. So in the George Lopez stand-up, he was just like, yeah, we will walk, and we knew that guy was a pedophile, but we'd be like, fuck you, pedophile, you ain't gonna get me. So
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yo, you throw snowballs and eggs at strangers. You didn't,
dude, lighten up the bus with the eggs. Yo, the Comic Forge. Shout out to two great members of this awesome community. Thank you for the super chat. Sweet Paprika to the stage.
Everybody loves a little bit of paprika.
Dude, I remember I was quiet. I was making that. I was like super quiet at my desk. So my desk is in the living room, boom, whatever. And then my wife was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, the community demands strippers.
Yeah. Yo, flesh sells, kid. I'll tell you that right off the bat. You see Eva Long on the channel.
So let's get into that because that was one of my questions. How did that come about?
All right. So Eva came about, right? We did, as a spoof, we did a couple of cameos with Tyrone, and we did the dude that looks like Peter Griffin from The Family Guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt was like, yo, let's step it up a notch. Let's get a porn star. So he starts researching. So we find Eva Long, right? We talked to a couple of chicks, and she's like, oh, without a doubt, I'll hook you guys up with something crazy. So she did our cameo for us, and I was like, holy shit, like this is like they're gonna love this. Matt's like, we're gonna make it into a super chat. So it went from there. Then we started messaging Eva back and forth, like, oh, she's like, I'm into comics, like blah blah blah, yada yada yada. We're like, yo, you gotta come on the show. Like, people will love this. And we always like to base it on, like, we want to kind of be like the Howard Stern of the comic book community, where we could curse, because not too many channels do that. And you know that right off the bat. Like, a lot of, it's wholesome, and like kids are watching. Like,
fuck that.
Yeah, we're friends with like Gary and Jem, and they try to keep it business. We're like, yo, fuck that. Let's bring porn stars on. She came on. It was a hit. She was not at the time. She was up for nomination for MILF of the Year award. So we had people come flood her chats and flood her votes, and ever since then, man, it's just been like a cool relationship. She promotes our stuff, we promote her stuff, and one hand washes the other. So she's Queen Defect, man. She rocks out with us.
No, that's mad cool. I'm a lurker, so I'll be watching. I might not drop a comment and stuff like that because I got my phone next to me, and most of the time I'm editing, right? But I remember that episode where she was on, and I was just like, oh snap, they got a guest on. For some reason in my mind, I thought she was like a voiceover artist because she had on at the time she had on a Harley Quinn shirt. So I was like, oh, she probably did the voice of Harley Quinn. Let me Google her.
Yep. Yeah. So yo, mad cool though, dude. Like, she always hits this up. She's like, well, yo, if you guys ever come out to Vegas, come check me. But awesome. And every time she's up for an award or something like that, we always try to make our defects and people in the community vote for her because, yo, she don't have to do stuff like that. She comes on her own dime. You know what I mean? Like she's a busy chick. I'm sure every chick in that industry is, but she rocks out and she knows her comic book stuff. You know, we got her a Christmas present. She sent us the gift package. My wife wasn't exactly happy with it, but yo, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So it was awesome, and then it just snowballed, and then like now she's just one of the Defects family members. So it's cool, man.
Nah, that's definitely mad cool. She seems super cool. She seems super cool.
Super.
On the last time she was on, I was dying laughing. Like something happened. Oh, when she got on, that her camera was like
Oh
facing,
yes, yep.
and it's like, no, it's perfectly fine where it is.
Yeah, it's good right here. Yep, that's all we need.
Yeah, Universe X is like, yo, I recognize her. Maybe I do. Maybe I do.
Yep.
Let's take it back to comic books. How did you discover comic books? What age were you when you discovered comic books? Just take it from there.
All right, so comic books, I was fortunate. Like I told Jimmy, where I lived on my block, I had a comic book store to the left and to the right. So I had the underground. Oh, I'm sorry, the underworld, which was like strictly comic books, and then I had a place called Spidey's Dugout, which was like comics and cards combined, hence Spidey's Dugout.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an older cousin that was always into superheroes, so he kind of like took me under the wing. And what actually got me into the comic books was the cards, man. You remember the cards back in the day? You would open them up. Like we'd be in the comic book store, like feeling the packs to see if there was a hologram card in there, because that was the shit back in the day. So you would look at them, and then you would turn to the back and you would see their stats, like intelligence, strength, yada, yada, yada. The list went down. So I'm like, oh, I'm into this, like the whole superhero thing. Spider-Man was a cartoon, like those early 80s Spider-Man and Friends, and even the Spider-Woman and Batman animated series and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, I got to start reading comic books because I'm into this stuff. Like, so I would go. Image came out at that time in the 90s, you know, but I was always drawn to the Punisher for some reason. He, you know, as kids playing up, like we talked about playing Manhunt, man, like you're playing with guns back in the day. And I was like, this is just, so I was always drawn to the Punisher. And then art evolved, right? Then we got like those McFarlane Spider-Man covers and the McFarlane Spawns. And then we had, you know, even like artists like Liefeld that are, you know, we all know about his feet, but like that whole Image like era, I'm like, oh man, I would read every single book. Deathblow, Spawn, Punisher, Spider-Man, the Clone Wars came out then. So I was just hooked. And eventually, I used to go to the card shop so much that they gave me a job there. Like I would sort baseball cards.
That's crazy.
Put them in order. I would stack comic books up on the shelves. So ever since then, I collected, man. Everyone stops, right? Listen, everyone stops collecting. You got to go chase tail. You got to rock out, drink 40s, smoke blunts, smoke cigarettes, take care of business when you're a teenager. But always collected Punisher, man. That like always stuck by my side for some reason. And then you know how it goes. You get back into it. I got back into it in like 2007. And when you get back into it, that FOMO kicks in and you start grabbing everything. But I was fortunate enough to get back in at that time. I was making a little bit of money and I was like, I want to start grabbing like big books. And back then you could grab big books. Like if you compare 2007 to 2022 and just look at the grails now, it's insane, man. So a lot of the books that I have that are big books were from back then, and a lot of like raffle wins and stuff like that, because raffling was big back then. So comics always been a part of my life, probably from like 11 years old on.
Yeah, same. So I think maybe a little bit younger, like maybe like 10. And then you go through those like ebbs and flows or peaks and valleys where like I would collect a whole bunch of stuff and then I would sell it. And I remember I started collecting like that, like 88 to like 93. And in that was like first Eddie Brock, first Venom, first Bishop, first whatever. And I would wait till because I had them. I didn't have a long box or anything like that. I didn't even know if they made long boxes back then. They probably did, and I would have them. And then once if you stack them up, once they start falling, it was time to get rid of them then.
Yeah. See, I never sold, man. Like a lot of shit my family just threw out, which is terrible, right? But that's where that adult nostalgia, you know, kicks in, and you want to go back and relive that childhood and grab books that there's been so many books that I rebought that I
Yeah.
already had, but I'm like, yo, I want this book again. I remember having this as a kid. And then, dude, listen, when CGC came out and grading books came out, I was the first person to be like, oh, fuck grading books. I'll never do this. Like, I'm totally against this. But the hobby has evolved, right? I have books in Mylars that look beautiful, but there's some books that I just have to grade because they have to be encapsulated and you get a better value for them. You know what I mean? And I say that because, listen, we know how life is. Anyone can get sick, or die in a car accident. At least my wife could gauge what these are worth being, graded and stuff like that. So, everyone likes to read their comic books, man. I get it. The Mylars look beautiful, but there's just some books, man. I was like, and then I look, man, and Linx, I shoot from the hip. I tell you how it is. Like CGC prices going up. You're waiting 6 months for a book. It's like they're paying, $15 an hour for a grader. And then I go on Brittany's Instagram and she's vacationing in all these exotic spots. And I'm like, all right, well, at least I know where my fucking money is going right now. So,
yo, Britney Spears is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit! No, it's funny. You mentioned CGC. I got a notification yesterday that 2 of my books shipped out. I had no idea I had books at CGC. Like it's I was just like, what the hell? So then I went in, but they had went in the beginning of December, so December 3rd. So it was like 24 moderns and then 2 Silver Age, and I totally forgot about those. So I was just like, what the hell? But like with CGC, I don't know, the price hikes and all that other shit. Like, I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to feel. Like, I don't feel like I'm not mad. Like some people are like real like mad and like, oh my god, you had to have to turnaround times and all this other stuff. I'm just like, yo, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yo, what's not going up, right? Groceries, everything's going up. I get it. You know what I mean? The price hikes don't piss me off as much as waiting for your books for like 6 months. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, damn, dude, I gotta wait this long.
Yeah, Nick right here. No, it's funny. So this thing happened to me the other day, and I messaged Nick. Nick and I are really cool. I don't know if you're familiar with Nick's Kicks and Comics. So I messaged him the other day. I was in Macy's in Herald Square. So I go to Macy's and I'm like, yo, let me get the big bottle of Armani Code. That's my cologne. So I was like, let me get the big bottle of Armani Code. So then she gives me the medium. So I was just like, isn't there a bigger bottle? And she's just like, oh yeah, but that's $140. Like,
yeah. It's like, yo, this medium bottle, that's the price of the big bottle now.
I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Take it back to comics. You mentioned the Punisher. So 2-part question. What drew you to the Punisher? Number 1. And then second half of that, controversial thing. The groups that repurposed his logo, how did you feel about that? And then Marvel subsequently changing it. So what drew you to the Punisher first?
So what drew me to the Punisher, like I said, was like, there was Spider-Man in his red and blue costume, and then there was Captain America, basically the same, this, that, and the other thing. He was gritty, man. I grew up watching, action movies. We know how movies are a lot different now than when we grew up. Cartoons were a lot different.
Yeah.
We had G.I. Joe, where Cobra and G.I. Joe were battling with guns all the time. We had Transformers, where they were battling with guns all the time. We had He-Man, where the guys were battling with swords and shit like that all the time. Now kids got like Blippi and Teletubby, that, you know what I mean? All that shit. So I was like, oh, this is a character I like. I like this skull. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. This guy's from New York, yada, yada, yada. And listen, we know. Growing up in places like we grew up, we watched movies we weren't supposed to all the time, right?
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. We were watching all types of stuff. I was watching Menace to Society at like 13 years old. You know what I mean? It's like, these are the movies we grew up with. So I was always I'm like, this is a realistic character. So I was always drawn to Frank Castle. Like his stories were always cool to me. I was like, oh, this is my character right here. As far as the whole skull thing,
let me just
like,
pause you real quick just to recognize Dave Cerrone and his Dave Cerrone Library Kid, the Butcher and the Defects. Always keep it real. Mad respect for a major voice in the community who reads his books. Let's see some more strippers.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's my favorite one because you could almost see something there.
Can you? Let me go back. Hold on, wait a minute. Oh shit! So I'm sorry for cutting you off.
As far as the controversial part, listen, people are gonna wear what they're gonna want to wear, right? People are gonna express their views whether you like it or not. Like, there's a bunch of idiots out there that could be wearing, and like someone could go out right now and wear a Baron Zemo shirt and fucking do some stupid shit. You know what I mean? I don't think that should reflect on the comic books, man, because half these knuckleheads out there doing dumb shit like that aren't comic book readers, man. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
like, why should this reflect on Marvel and the Punisher? As far as his logo changing now, I think it goes right back, man. Like, listen, why would they change something like that up? I understand Marvel's point. It's like, oh, we want to reach out to this, and everyone wants to be politically correct, whether their beliefs are behind that or not. You know what I mean? Everyone got to make amends and be political correct in this day and age. Everybody got to watch what they say and this, that, and the other thing. But I think the Punisher will be back. I think if that logo was so bad, he wouldn't be on the first issue coming out on this this new comic book day with that logo. They would have changed it from the jump, man. So I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think that's just going to be where I think he's in Asia, so that the skull represents something in like Asian lore or something like that. I was reading.
So he's gonna be the warlord of the hand. We've seen Daredevil with the hand, we've seen Elektra with the hand, now we're seeing Punisher with the hand. So I get it. They're switching it up for the hand. He's gonna, whether he's infiltrating the hand, whether he's gonna be a part of the hand, we don't know. It's Frank Castle. This dude's primary goal is to take out bad guys. So I think the skull ain't done, man. That's a money grab for Marvel. They know that. So we'll see what either way, it's a Punisher book, and I love the Punisher. As long as it's Frank Castle behind whatever he's wearing, I'm reading it. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He could wear a Punisher outfit. I mean, a Punisher outfit, a pirate outfit, as long as he's kicking ass and taking names. I'm like you. I've always loved the Punisher. Like, my first love was Captain America. For some reason, I love Captain America, Hulk Hogan, like all the good guys. But then once I discovered Punisher, I don't know how I got a Punisher book. It was a Punisher War Journal. I was just like, holy shit! Like, people are allowed to kill people in comic books.
Yeah, they're always. And you know what? You know what's crazy? For such a major character, he don't have a lot of keys. You got that first appearance, you got that first limited series, and you got his first unlimited series, and then you got variants and stuff like that. But Punisher, he don't, like, his major villain Jigsaw and stuff. Those books don't fetch a lot of money, man. So we'll see.
Yeah, you see Dave's comment here.
Dave's crazy, man.
That's a jerking off joke, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, no, I can't wait for the new Punisher story. I've always loved the Punisher. From that, once I've realized that comics could be violent, I'm a big fan of like violence. So I like a lot of like the indie stuff, a lot of the quirky stuff, like Ed Plisker. I loved Red Room, just like the ultra violent stuff. Is there anything besides the Punisher, like on the indie scene, that maybe you enjoy?
As far as the indie scene, I don't know if you would really call Image indie scene. I really enjoyed Geiger this year. What else did I read that was indie? Nocterra, I thought was phenomenal.
I love Nocterra.
Yeah, dude, I try to read whatever's hot, and like we said before, I gauge it for what I don't like. I listen to the community, but I listen to myself. If it's something I like that other people don't like, I still like it, man. Like, but my favorite run, like, I'm a big Punisher guy. My favorite story arc of all time is that Snyder and Capullo Batman. Like, that knocks it out of the park for me. And you know, as a comic book reader, we go back and I read Silver Age stuff like old Fantastic Four and X-Men, and it's just so outdated and hard to read. They're classic stories, don't get me wrong, but it's just tough, man. But all these modern books, Annihilation, all these books, man, it's just good reads. A good comic book is so much better than anything the MCU will put on screen. Like, you know, man, you're a Thanos guy. Infinity Gauntlet, dude. It's so much like, yo, the movies were good, right? But yo, the comic books, how much different and how much better, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I had that down as a question. Where the hell is that question? I know I wrote it down. It was about you're very, I don't want to say very critical because I don't want it to be like a negative thing, but obviously the source material is going to be better than what they can do in a movie, condensing 6 issues into like 1 2 hour movie. In a perfect world, like what would you like to see on the big screen? Direct translations or them messing with it a little bit just to get the story across?
All right, so we mentioned Infinity Gauntlet, right? So we'll go for there.
And
Like,
that's my favorite story arc of all time.
and something like that, yo, you got to see Adam Warlock. That's just an example. Like, you got to see Silver Surfer. They were such big keys in that story arc. Like, to leave them out, I don't want to see Hawkeye in Infinity Gauntlet. It just don't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Yo, the movie's enjoyable, right? It's enjoyable, but that's not what I want to see, man. Because at any given day, as a Thanos fan, you got Hawkeye here. You're just like, you know what I mean? So it's like I want to see I want to see the cosmic people in a cosmic themed movie. And I'm critical, and I know it's just because I like to read my books and compare, but we talk about it all the time, man. If Infinity Gauntlet's on, I will never shit on that movie. It's just different, man. It's just a different realm.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think like I'm a Thanos guy. Thanos is one of my favorite characters of all time. And I guess I'm not as critical because I live in a fucking world where Thanos is a movie character. Like that's
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. Yep.
So when I went to see Infinity Gauntlet, so we're watching it, and even from the outset, I'm not gonna lie, I'm an emotional dude. So I said Thanos comes out right at the very beginning. I start tearing up because it's just like, yeah, you were excited for this movie because it was like from Iron Man from 2010 all the way up until now. I've been waiting for this movie since 1990 or 91, whenever it was. So I'm not as critical. Like there are some MCU movies that are but but I'm just like happy to see, like legit a legit Thanos on the screen. Like I'm happy. Yo, to this day, Jay, I watch Endgame and I have to watch both of them at the same time. Like if my wife is just like, "Yo, I'm gonna go visit my sister," whatever, I'm like, "All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm either gonna watch Infinity War and Endgame, or I'm gonna make a video and edit it." And to this, like I'll be goosebumps. Like I just watched it for the first time. Years, like it's oh my god.
Yeah. Like, listen, you see Tony Stark and Iron Man die at the end. You see this, all this stuff happen. It's phenomenal, right? It's phenomenal. But I would like imagine it with the big players in it. Imagine if they just, No,
and I'm with you. And from comics, my love of like the Marvel universe, my side always falls toward the cosmic side. So I'm with you. Like I would have loved to see Silver Surfer on the screen. I would have loved to see Adam Warlock. I would have loved to see Drax go toe to toe with Thanos in Endgame, and that's a big deal. And they robbed us of that. Just big shout out to the channel sponsor, Spidey's Powder Tumblers in the building. What is going on, Jose? Good to see you, brother. What's the most, I don't want to say like the biggest book in your collection. What's the most, I guess, book that has the most sentimental value to you? Something that if you had to sell everything tomorrow, you wouldn't even think about getting rid of that thing.
So, all right. I would have to say it's not even an expensive book, man. It's a book you could get in a CGC 9.8 for probably like $400, $300. It's my Punisher limited series #1, where he's up against that brick wall. We all know that famous Mike Zeck cover, but it's remarked by him, and that would be it. It's my favorite cover of all time. And my favorite artist of all time is Mike Zeck, and he remarked it so good, dude, that I love it. And I got books way bigger than that in my collection, but if I had to sell everything, that's one book I would just keep in my collection because it just means something to me, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. I have like, a bunch of bangers, but I think my Amazing Spider-Man 347. So I have the original I had when I was a kid, and then I had bought it in the CGC. So I have it in a 9.6 signed by Stan Lee, Eric
Oh,
Larson,
beautiful.
yeah, and Randy Emberlin. Like that's I don't that's my pride and joy right there. Like, and I have a bunch, obviously you too, bunch of big books, but that's my jam. Like I would
Yeah, that's like that's my book, dude. It's like that's my prized possession, you know?
I wanted, and my bad if we're switching gears a little too fast. I want to talk about King Con 2, which is a small Comic Con that you're involved in. I just want to bring up the graphic. So King Con 2, which is happening March 19th in Jersey. And these are the details, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in the tri-state area, go to kingconcomicshow.com to get the information. How did this come about with the first one and now the second one?
So Greg, I've been friends with for a while. So before, like, YouTube, everybody, like these influencers and speculators and all this stuff happened during COVID, right? Before
Yeah.
that, way before that, behind the scenes, I've been in the comic book game for a little while. Before Jem had his channel, before Gary had his channel, I was friends with these guys just for the pure love of comic books. So I've been behind the scenes for a little bit. I never thought I'd be doing something like we're doing tonight, right? Um, Greg was a friend of ours. He started doing, his thing on Instagram where he blew up from, where, which I won't get into much detail because I don't want to blow spots on YouTube, but it gives
Nobody's
people
watching. Nobody's watching.
it gives people the opportunity to win big books that maybe you can't, like, you could roll the dice on a book instead of, someone that may not be able to afford such a big book, which I am fortunate enough to have big books because of that.
Yeah.
So Greg said he wanted to do, and Greg is MTG who puts on King Con. He wanted to do a comic book show that was like all people from the community. So he reached out to us and we pinged it as for the community, by the community, right? So you got guys like Very Gary vending there, Erod 2 and 2, the New York Warriors, Streetside Anthony's, people that haven't been in this circle, because you listen, in the community, we know there's circles, right? Everyone says community, but the community is very divided. I don't give a fuck who you are. Everyone has their little cliques and niches and this and that and the other thing. So he wanted to put on a show for people in the community to sell books, not vendors, because we all know vendors been in the game for years. There's vendors that hate CGC. We got vendors that say that pressing and cleaning is restoration. I get all that. Listen, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? Collect how you want to collect. That's what we always try to pump into people. But he has a comic book show where he has like 3 men there: Gary, Erod, the Warriors, or all people that are collectors selling books. So that was the major selling point. And then I'm like, you know what? We're on board, man, because this is all good people, trustworthy people. That's important, right? Being trustworthy, and it's a good time. And it's just like we got to what we were talking about before with BronxCon. Even if you don't want to come and buy books, which I understand because books are at an all-time high right now, you come and just talk comic books, chill out, grab a beer, grab a coffee, whatever you got to do, and just hang out, man. So it's a good time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to heading out there. Just want to say big shout out to Actual Dracula, my guy. Actual Dracula is a big Defects fan. I know
That's my boy right there, dude.
Drac is an amazing guy. I'm so glad I got to meet him. Yeah, no, I'm excited to head out there, head out to Jersey, and link up with all you guys and the New York Warriors and all the dudes, just to branch out a little bit and get
That's
out of
it, man.
my comfort zone, because I'm I stay to what I know and what I'm familiar and comfortable with, and I definitely need to get out of that. Now, you spoke about the community, and then tell me to kick rocks if I'm barking up the wrong tree, but I wanted to ask you about the backlash that you receive about the CBC awards. Now, I don't want to talk about the CBC awards and stuff like that in a negative light, just specifically to you, some of the backlash that you receive, if you received any, for your comments regarding the CBC awards.
Yeah, so there, of course, there was backlash. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I put it out there knowing there was gonna be backlash. My whole thing was like, guys, yo, my video's still up. You could go watch it. It wasn't bad. I said that Brian LCS, who I'm cool with now, like a very nice guy, a gentleman. We had many conversations about it. It was just, you got to be bigger to put it out there if you're going to do an award show, right? Because you got to reach out to everybody. And he realized that. And there, yo, I apologize to many people. I didn't mean to offend anybody in any light. I said he's trying to do the right thing. And now he's, he, whether it was because of me or not, he's doing the right thing now. And it's grown, man. So I'm happy for him. But I just don't like putting people up against each other. You know what I mean? Everyone deserves an award, dude. That's my thing.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and yeah, that's why I just wanted to talk about just specifically the backlash and not really.
Yeah, of course there was backlash. Like, people thought I was targeting them. I wasn't, man. I was just trying to,
Yeah,
listen. This is what it is, man. Like, it has grown, right? It has grown tremendously, and I'm happy for Brian. He's trying to do a right thing. You know what I mean? He is doing the right thing. Like, it's out there, like the award now. So many people know about it because so many people shared it. Whether it's, listen, we know, right? Any press is good press, whether it's good press or bad press. We all know that. So he's doing the right thing. It's just something that at the time I was like, but what about this person, this person, this person, and this person who deserve to be nominated? But it's all good, man. Like I said, I talked to Bry. He's a good dude. I understand he was just trying to do the right thing. It's just something personally that I like, everybody deserves an award for something that they do in this community.
yeah, and what happens is you're super passionate about the community. You're super passionate about comics. You're super passionate about your YouTube channel. We have that in common, and you have no problem speaking up for the little guy, and that's what I admire about you. You know what I
I
mean?
appreciate it, man. Yeah, like I wasn't trying to beef or nothing like that.
Yeah,
I come across abrasive, bro. It's just the New York in me. My man,
same.
yeah, my man UniX is in the chat. That dude should be the fucking speculator of the year. And it's guys like that. He don't even have a YouTube channel, man. So how could he voice his shit? Like, go back and look at all his stories and his posts and see the books that he's posted. Like, that guy deserves to be on there, not Comic Tom that just reports on stuff. But Brian has, I admire Brian because he has reached out to every person in the community and said, how can I make this better? What can I do to grow this award? So kudos to him, man. It's only going to get better from here, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Brian reached out to me the day after the awards aired, so he reached out to me and for feedback. He reached out to a multitude of people for feedback, and I told him, I was like, listen, I'm headed to C2E2 in like 2 weeks. I'll gather the guys while we're there. We're probably going to be drunk as shit, but I'll gather the guys and we'll talk about it. And we did exactly that. We all got together and we discussed it and stuff like that. And I reported back to him, and he's doing his best. He's doing his best, and it's
Yeah, no,
admirable what he's doing.
absolutely. But like I said, like, as far as community, right? I think there's more of a community on IG than there is on YouTube. So it's like, reach out to maybe Instagram people too that necessarily don't post stuff on YouTube because some people are camera shy or they don't have
Yeah,
the time, but they're still putting out fire content. I've learned more from UniX than I have anyone in this community. Me, him, Matt, Thorough, another guy, Thorough
love
puts
Thorough.
out a ton of great stuff. Yeah, you love the guy. Like, that's all I was saying. It's like, yo, maybe these guys should be considered it. Maybe I didn't go about it the right way because I said I'm not abrasive New York just like you are, but everything was squashed, man. Everything's good, dude. It's all love in the community. It's only going to get bigger and better. And maybe I shedded some light to names that weren't nominated originally, that names that should have been, and they're there now, so it's all good.
Nah, thank you for answering that in a respectful way. And I heard you're hosting this year. No, I'm just
Yeah, I'm gonna be hosting. Y'all want to give away Best Speculator award. I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to be nominated. I don't want Pressable Defects nominated for anything. but I want to give an award away. How about that? Bri, if you're listening, I want to present an award.
There you go. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming up at 9:50. Usually we go to about 10 p.m., 10:15 the max. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Now, Jay, your name is the Butcher. Now, you used to be a butcher, right?
Yes. Yep.
What's your favorite cut of meat? Pause. Like,
A
as far as
fucking like a 2.5-inch ribeye. The fat nice and burnt, a little splash of A1 on there, and I'm good to go.
Oh my god, hell yeah. Either that for me, it's that, like that big ass ribeye, or I mean it's the same shit, just with the bone, the tomahawk. It's the same thing.
Yo, absolutely. Same shit. And you know what? You know what's a sleeper? I'm a big skirt steak guy.
I'm not a fan of the skirt steak. That's like the
Just
long one?
asada, kid.
Oh, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I remember we went to a restaurant a couple of weeks ago and they were out of like the regular ribeye. And they were like, we only have skirt steak. And I felt so defeated. I was just like, this is what it's like when you go to the shop on Wednesdays and they don't have your books.
Yeah, exactly. That's the worst feeling in the world.
Yo, but I love like a big ass ribeye, the big ass tomahawk. Oh my God.
That's it.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
When you used to work at the butcher shop, like, did you like hate meat after? I pause, but it's like, fucking
Nah, hell no, dude. Listen, I would rob that place blind. I'd come home. me and my were eating steaks every night of the week, dude. Like it was a good time. A great group of guys. Yeah, so that was it. I was a butcher. Then online gaming started, and then I became the butcher online. I got into a little bit of MMA. Back in my 20s, I was known as Jay the Butcher there, and it just stuck, man. Yeah, still to this day, man. I still train as much as I can. I got, I'm a family man now at work, but I still try to get, I still try to get my sparring in at least 2 or 3 times a month, Listen, I got to be prepared. All these people I talk shit about in the community, when they see me at a con, I got to be ready to throw, kid.
Yeah, they're going to be like, yo, there he is. Let's get him.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned the A1 and then man from Beantown, who, by the way, puts out a spectacular mystery box. Yo, the A1, I remember the first time, me and wife, we've been together since high school and shit like that, and we've experienced life together. We grew up together. So the first time we went to a fancy restaurant, so I was just like, whatever, let's go to this fancy steakhouse. I saved up all month to go to this fancy steakhouse. So I'm like, yeah, boom, 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 steak. They bring it out, and I was just like, do you have any A1? Yo, and the guy like looked at me like he wanted to kill me.
And I'm going to tell you why, right? I'm going to tell you why guys like us like A1. Because when we were younger, we grew up the way we did, A1 made a steak taste better. We didn't have that prime shit. So it's like A1, that just made your steak that much better. And I just grew up with it. And it's like, I still, till this day, I'll get $100 steak. Yo, give me a splash of A1 on that shit.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the facts. Like that $2 steak. Oh, it's tougher than the $2 steak. Yeah, A1 definitely covered up that taste. So I don't know. The guy like laughed at me and fucking wanted to kill me. Not you just a few months ago, like maybe 2 months ago, your exclusive, the Vampirella dropped 4 amazing covers. Well, I got 4. I think there was like a 5th one, or am I wrong?
No, there was 4 and there was like a metallic variant.
The one was the 5th, right? Yo, how did that come about? I was super happy to get that. I got all 4 covers, and then I
appreciate that, dude. I appreciate everyone in the community that grabbed it.
Yeah, I was super happy for you guys. I think that's that's a major deal. Like, to me, I would assume that's a major deal to you. How did that whole thing come about, and how do you feel about having your own exclusive book?
So, dude, it's like, I never would have thought coming into this that I would be on a comic book. I appreciate everybody that bought it. It came about, we do our thing on Very Gary's comic book channel. He's a huge platform. He, just like you, does his unboxings and his collections and everything that Gary got going on. So it came about, Nick Barucci, who owns Dynamite Comics, is always in Gary's chats. He reached out to us and he's like, oh, I like what you guys are doing. You're a little bit of an edgier channel. Like, we haven't seen stuff like this before. Like we talked about Eva being on
Yeah.
there and just not giving a fuck and just letting people know how it is. And he's like, "Would you like to do an exclusive with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, absolutely."
Oh
And it
shit.
just so happened that I was on a live show with Blackie Shepherd, who is the artist, and Cullen Bunn, which was the writer, on Gary's channel, talking about some stuff he had going on. So afterwards, he's like, "Who would you like to do this?" And I was like, listen, Blackie Shepherd has been a gentleman. Like, he's a cool ass dude in the community. And I would like him to do the cover. I like his Vampirella. We talked it over with Guy and Matt. He came up with it. It came out, dude. And it was just like the community was overwhelming. So I appreciate everybody that bought it. And even people that didn't buy it, that just liked the post that we put out, man, I appreciate that too. And we got something else coming up big too. So be on the lookout.
Oh damn! I was about to say, ladies and gentlemen, we got an exclusive coming up right now.
Yeah, we got something else coming. So we got the first cover appearance, right? But we got something else coming out. Maybe be a first full appearance in there. So that's a little bit of a tidbit we didn't even talk about on the defects. So
Oh shit!
there you go.
First full defects appearance. Interior.
There you go. There you go.
Sign me up, man. Sign me up. Yeah, that is super cool. I'm working on like something myself, and like I was telling you prior to this, like we're just two dudes, and to have like a logo, like a logo on a book, and then to be on a cover of a book by a big company, Dynamite, Vampirella, like that's a big fucking deal for guys like where we're from. Like that's unheard of.
Yeah, it's unheard, dude. It's overwhelming, man. Like, I could, we could both hang up the cleats tomorrow and be like, "Yo, YouTube's taking up too much of our life," or this, that, and the other thing. But it's, it's a footprint in the concrete, man. Like, it's there. Like, I appreciate everybody, man. I would never thought that would have happened, but I'm glad it did. And I couldn't ask for two better dudes, Guy and Matt, being part of that. So
how did you guys meet?
So Matt, I known for a long time, man. Like, Matt grew up like maybe 2.5, 3 miles away from me. We would always kick it at the same bars. We always knew of each other. And it was one day in a 3-man chat where we were both in there, right? The Butcha 105 and Matt Forge Comics. And he hit me up because he had the channel prior to Pressable Defects. And he's like, "Hey, man, would you like to come on and talk comics with us? I always see you in the chats. I always see you're an active part of the community." So I'm like, "Yeah, without a doubt." And I was like, "Do you happen to be Matt?" And I said his last name, and he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Dude, I know you. We know each other." And it just, he was like, "Holy shit!" So it was meant to be, man. And then Guy was his cousin. This guy's all over the place in the community, dude. He supports everything. There he is, right there. So.
Guy's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm like J Forge, in a way. These guys adopted me into the family.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Yeah, and you guys, I think your meteoric rise, just in my humble opinion, the chemistry between the three of you, the authenticity, the honesty that you bring to the table in front of the camera, there's no matching what you guys do at all.
So here's the thing, right? So Linx, like, behind the scenes, you're a one-man show, so you're your own boss. In our minds, we're all our own bosses. So there's shit behind the scenes, dude. But like, we always talk, and like when we do our spec videos and our cold keys, and there's turmoil in the community, right? We've seen posts in the last couple of weeks, and actually in the last week. But we always try to tell people, like, listen, we're laying out what we like. Here's what we think. Don't buy books based upon us, dude. Go do your homework. Here's a couple of building blocks. Read upon it. Read your own books. Do your own speculation, because that's the last. Speculation was a dirty word, right? A couple of years ago.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? All old school people don't like that. So the first, I reiterated multiple times. Yo, listen, here, this is what we're buying. This is why we're buying it. Matt lays down the facts. Don't buy it because we're telling you to buy it, man. Do your own homework. And that's where reading comic books comes into. Do your own homework, guys. You could listen to Thorough. You could listen to Linx. You could listen to and TiVo and us and all these others, UniX, but do your homework, man. And that's where you base your opinion on, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I don't think, and I respect you guys greatly. I respect everybody else that puts out speculation content. But it's important to do your own work because you don't want to be like, damn, I bought this because Jay said this and Jay was wrong. But you're the one that listened.
Yeah, we try. Listen, we try to do our best to put our viewers onto books that could potentially heat up. It's happened a ton of times. But I'll tell you what we won't do. Can we get a little controversial here?
Sure. Go ahead. Go. Boom.
I'm not gonna tell you, yo, buy that Pressable Defects fucking Vampirella cover and put it on Key Collector and drop it in the fucking link because we know that's what's going on in the community right now. Because guess what, guys? We ain't gonna be in the MCU and we ain't gonna be on nothing. So don't buy our exclusives because we drop it in Key Collector. And that shot's fired at someone, and I'm sure they'll see it and call me and message me. But we see how that's going down.
Nah, it's all good. First of all, I'm saddened to learn that you're not going to be in the MCU.
I'll never be in the MCU.
I want you versus Thanos. I'm sorry.
Nah, you want to see me versus Eva. That's what you want to see. Oh, I don't know. You don't even want to see that.
I know. Jesus Christ. Big shout out to Eva. Just real quick, just one last thing about YouTube. From your perspective, two-part question. What is and tackle them in whatever order you want, the hardest thing about doing the YouTube thing, and then the thing you most enjoy?
All right. The hardest thing, dude, is the hardest thing. It's so tough as your channel grows and you have all these subscribers that follow you to keep track with everybody and answer everybody's messages because, dude, listen, every one of our subs I love. I hate when I forget to give someone a shout out for something because I feel guilty about it. You make friends, you lose friends, right? Just as fast. Over petty shit, right? It's happened. What I love about it most is the relationship I grew with Matt and Guy and everybody else in the community that I'm tight with, people like yourself. It's all good, man. Like the last thing I want to do is, if someone pulls some bullshit, I call out bullshit, dude. You know what I mean? But I don't want to hurt feelings. I don't want to fucking lose friends over nothing. I just want it to be, everyone to be copacetic. But if I ever forget to shout someone out, just know in the back of my mind when that video plays that I'm thinking about you and I just forgot about it, man. Like that's it. I love the community, dude. It's all about comic books, man. Fuck all the rest of the bullshit.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. The community is definitely the bright spot about this whole thing that we do and getting to meet people like you. I greatly respect you, Jay. Like legit.
Yeah,
and
dude.
We've gone back and forth like through Instagram. You were I think you shut down your channel for a sec, not your channel, your Instagram page for a second. And the minute I saw you pop back up, I hit you up. And I don't know, for some reason I greatly respect what you do. I think you're super welcoming, regardless of like the backlash that you got from the CBC Awards. I don't know, for some reason I'm like drawn to you.
Nah, dude, yeah. And listen, you'll see. I go dark every once in a while, guys. Like I'll just get off of social media because sometimes it's just overwhelming. I'm just like, yo, I need a break, man.
It's not built for cats like us. It's not built.
Yeah,
it's a necessary evil.
I got a family at home. You know how it is, Linx. You got to edit videos.
Yeah.
You got to communicate with people. Sometimes I just go dark, and it's not against anybody. And that's why I just don't shut the app. I just go completely dark because I don't want to feel like I'm not answering anybody or ignoring anybody because I would never do anything like that.
Wow, Tyler from Wax Comics. He says we almost had an exclusive Butcher block. I was ready for that fire. Your appearance on Wax Comics was hilarious.
Yeah, those dudes were great, man. Like it was, and that was, you know what? They reached out after the whole comic book award stuff and like, yo, come on, and It's like, dude, I'll come on anybody's show at any time. I love talking comics. I love being part of the community, but I'm not going to beat a dead horse.
Of course.
Sometimes things need to have light shed on them, and it's for the better.
Of course. And Jay, with that said, I want to leave on a positive note, and I think that was super, super positive. I want to thank you for coming on the channel, coming on the show. Like I said a few minutes ago, I greatly respect you. I greatly respect what Guy and Matt do. You guys are awesome, man. And for you to have that growth in such a short amount of time, and it speaks to everything that you're doing right, your authenticity, your honesty, and you guys are just amazing dudes, man. Amazing dudes.
Yo, now you know what's next, right? Now you got to come on the defects, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just super excited, man. I love when I get to chop it up with somebody that there's a mutual respect there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, dude. And it's like, listen, we're both New York guys. It's a one big comic community. I can't wait to kick it with you at King Con. I can't wait for you to kick it at Terrificon. Everybody in the chat, whether you're East Coast, West Coast, Canada, wherever the fuck you coming, you got to come to Terrificon and hang out, man. We got Jimmy coming. It's going to be a great time. Everyone will bond together. We'll laugh over the bullshit, right? That's the most important part. Have some beers, laugh over all the petty stuff, have a great time, buy comic books, talk comic books, and just chill out, dude. So I can't thank you enough for having me on. I'm honored, dude. I made it on Linx's show. I don't freestyle, and I made it on.
Oh, stop it, man. Maybe we'll have you back as like a judge on one of the rap battles. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up, dude. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, thank you all for coming out and supporting. Yeah, I'm kind of drunk, but it is what it is. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, most importantly, we spread love because it's the New York way. Peace. Let's go.